Hello everyone, welcome back to the Zach F1 channel, and we've got another deadline stream for you, and this is going to be a good one. Monaco, we know qualifying is so important, there's not going to be many overtakes, there's quite a few teams that people are leaning towards. I'm leaning towards a team that I'll get into, and it actually comes from the Discord server that I've made for all of us. Sorry for pronunciation, but sorry for pronunciation, brought up a way to final fix in a team where it adds a lot of safety, which I quite like. I've completely forgotten. I need to get the live stream up so I can see all of your chats. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for that. Hey Matthias, how you doing? Hey Michael, how you doing, man? Good to see you. Let me get this just as per usual. No, don't put that there. Don't put that there. And we are good to go. Let me get that into full screen. I believe at least. Hey, how you doing? Good to see you all in the chat. Leclerc and Hamilton over Sainz and Piastri. So I wouldn't jump too hard onto the Mercedes bandwagon yet. I haven't actually got the debrief down. I know they looked very good this weekend so far, but 100% Leclerc. You know what, John? If you can only afford Leclerc Hamilton, then I would go for that, because Leclerc is 100% who I will be begging everyone to bring in, which I know is crazy because he is cursed. He is very much cursed, but I have a really strong feeling he's going to do it this weekend. Merc back in teams? Yeah, exactly. I know people are going to put the Mercs back in. I don't think we should. It's one of those things where my plan is, yeah, I'll tell you all my plan is anyway. What my plan is. So my plan is, sadly, even though Yuki Tsunoda, he should get top 10, I think for me, because I can't afford it, I bring down Nico Hülkenberg. I bring in Hülkenberg, and then like I was talking at the beginning, depending on how well Piastri does, I final fix to either Hamilton, Russell, Sainz, because I'll have enough money to do it. So it's a very safe play when Hülkenberg and Tsunoda will be getting similar points. So that's my plan for now. Thoughts on Leclerc, Sainz, Ferrari, Hulk, and Albon and Bottas. So yeah, I fully agree. McLaren and Ferrari look like the best duo at the minute because Red Bull look like they're in the pack themselves. And then Hülkenberg, good. Albon, not so much. But I'm assuming you can't afford anyone else. If you can't afford anyone else than Albon, then keep him. But if you can afford anyone else, I would even go up to Gasly from Albon. And if you can, then go up to Tsunoda from Albon, if you can. Oh, sorry. And then should I switch Sainz to Piastri? I would stick with Sainz for now because it gives you a bit of leeway. So if Sainz doesn't perform well, you can easily just final fix back down to Piastri. But I do think Sainz will be in the top 3 in qualifying. I genuinely, from the Ferrari's pace, I think they're going to be right there this weekend. Hey Racing, how you doing? Yes, that's the thing. McLaren seem like they should have more pace than what they're saying, and that's why I really like. Big shout out. We figured this out on the Discord. So Chit, I'm butchering your name. Sorry if you're in the chat. You can easily final fix out Piastri if you have the funds, so then you could go up to Sainz, Russell, or Hamilton. Well, that's the plan at least. What about Bottas's crash? So Bottas, annoyingly, sort of just keeping because we have to keep him. But he should be back. From what I've been hearing, he should be back for qualifying. I'd be surprised if he wasn't. And Bottas, he's sort of just a dud. You know what? I'll go over all of the drivers that I think are like dud performers that you've sort of just got. If they're in your team, it's just because they're there. Logan Sargent, dud. He's gonna be 20th, whatever. Just there if he's too. If you can't afford anyone else. Bottas, a dud driver. Zhou, dud driver. Albon, dud driver. Hülkenberg, good to have. Gasly, good to have. Magnussen, dud driver. Ricciardo, dud driver. Tsunoda, good to have. Ocon, good to have. Stroll, Aston Martin looked better, but I would still say dud. Alonso dud. Hamilton, Russell, the jury's out on that. However, we should know at least, because they're so cheap, if one of them does really well, we just final fix it in. And I think because it'd be such a surprise for Mercedes to be so good, not many people would have Mercedes. So yeah, if you wanted to risk it, go Mercedes. However, I think it's not worth doing that risk, because I don't think anyone else is going to go for Mercedes, from my knowledge. If you final fix, you lose quali points. So yeah, you lose quali points. However, in a race like Monaco, say Sainz gets second or third, that's 9 or 8 points. Piastri's not going to be lower than top 6. So Piastri will still get like 4 or 5 points. So you'll lose out on 3 to 4 points if you go with the wrong driver. However, in the long run, it will still work out. Yeah, literally. Basically, you just have to deal with him just being there, Michael. Yeah. Hopefully they just stick out of the way. Hopefully no one crashes on the teams, but we'll see. Why do I keep picking Sargent? Just because I can't afford anyone else. So here's the thing. So what I was talking about one ton is I could do something like this. Yeah. But I think I genuinely think Hülkenberg and Zhou isn't as good as Sargent and Tsunoda. I think Zhou and Sargent are both dud drivers for now. So there's no real... Yeah, it's bad having Sargent, but what can you do, realistically? Magnussen, Hülkenberg versus Tsunoda, Albon. So would you have both of those drivers? If you had both of those drivers, I'd go for Tsunoda and Albon. Hey, thank you for that. Too thick. What do you think about Alonso? So Alonso's another one where he's been on and off this weekend, hasn't he? He looked very good in FP1 and FP2, but then in FP3, not so much. Let me get up the FP3. So where did Alonso... A 10th. I just think... Especially because if you were having the Verstappen builds, maybe you'd have Alonso. I think Verstappen builds are out for this weekend. It's got to be close, but I think if Leclerc can just keep it safe, get at least second place, driver of the day, 35 to 38 points, he could be doing good. Right, Noah, I have Oscar, Leclerc, Logan, Yuki, Nico, Ferrari and McLaren, but I can also do Carlos, Leclerc, Logan, Kevin. Yeah, okay, so who's the changes there? Logan, yeah, fine. Kevin. Oh, right, so your team would be very similar to mine, Noah, but basically from what I'm planning to do, and I think you should do something similar, is go to Sainz, and if Sainz doesn't perform, final fix him back to Piastri, Russell or Hamilton, whoever does better, because you'll have that movement. And this weekend's one of the better ones to use final fix, because you're going to be using it on a premium driver if you do end up using it. And there's not going to be many other weekends where you would final fix a premium driver. I mean, I could be wrong, because the meta is changing to having 2 premium drivers, so we could be seeing it a lot more often. But for me, it sounds good. It sounds like a good plan. I don't see why not. Any thoughts on Alonso? Yeah, so for me, Aston Martin's still a big no-go. I haven't... Yes, they did well in FP1 and FP2, but I haven't seen anything crazy. Sorry, quick drink break. Red Bull versus McLaren is another big one. Let me get these polls getting ready again. Who will score more? McLaren. Because for me, I still think Red Bull will score more. However, again, like Imola, I think it will be close. So on this poll, for me, I would say same points. So I would recommend going for McLaren purely because you can save a bit of money getting that second premium driver, because they're going to get similar points all weekend, in my opinion. But we'll see what all of you think anyway. It's always good fun to do a few polls. Yeah, actually, before I get crazily into it, let me do all of my spamming of all the good stuff. 669 people in the league. Thank you very much for joining. Does Final Fix still cost points? No. So Final Fix, it's fine. It doesn't count as a transfer because you don't keep the driver after you've used him. So your team will revert back. So it's like having... But it's like Final Fix. Yeah, it's just having one free transfer that you can change afterwards, but you don't actually use it, so it's technically not a transfer. It just changes for the race, or, well, yeah, the race for this weekend. Hey, how you doing, Nicolaus? You think we should remove Red Bull completely? I have Leclerc, Tsunoda, Magnussen. Good. Magnussen, okay. Hulkenberg, good. Bottas, and free swaps. What is your opinion? So, for me, I think you're fine. So, Nicolaus, I can't remember exactly how much money you have, but if you've got Leclerc times 2, you're pretty much set anyway. You can do the free swaps to McLaren up to, I guess you would upgrade Magnussen to Piastri, which I would recommend if you can, and it would also keep 2 transfers, or potentially you'd have to drop down Hulkenberg to get the money in. But I would recommend moving to McLaren Ferrari builds. But just having Leclerc times 2 is the most important thing this weekend overall, I would say. Okay, you know what? We'll let the poll go for a little bit longer. So, no, you don't take a -10 for final fixing. So don't worry about that. I'm almost 100% sure. Let me double check. I'd be surprised. I remember when I looked at it. I made a whole video on it. I need to refresh myself on it, though. Where is the thingy-mabobs? Let's just have a look at it, all of us, though, just to make sure. Yeah, not incur a penalty. There we go. Yeah, I thought so. Let me get back to that. Worth taking a -10 to switch Alonso and Hulkenberg to Hamilton and Zhou. I would say no, because I think Alonso will get into the top 10, and I'd be surprised if Mercedes kept up this pace going into qualifying. I still think they're going to be around. My predictions, I should probably say this. My predictions for qualifying is Leclerc on pole, Verstappen second, Sainz third, Piastri fourth, Norris fifth, Russell sixth, Hamilton 7th, Perez 8th, Alonso 9th, and then Tsunoda 10th. That's my predictions, at least. So I just don't think it's worth it. I know they looked good, and I should bring up the debrief as well. The debrief's not always the best to have a look at, but you can get a gist of what's going on. Where's the debrief? Show me the debrief. Oh, for God's sake. We'll have a look at this when I can find it. News will probably be on the news. Yeah, here we go. Here's the debrief. So I know it's not incredibly reliable. Sometimes it's quite off. But it's never been crazy off. And I do believe Mercedes won't be faster than McLaren, Red Bull and Ferrari. Just remember it is practice, because I know I'm getting hyped over the Ferraris, and I'm sort of being a hypocrite over the Mercedes, because I'm like, yeah, Ferrari will do fine, doing good in practice, and Mercedes won't do fine, but they're doing well in practice. But that's what I believe in. Hi Zach, I have Sainz, Stroll, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Tsunoda, Red Bull and Ferrari with 2 swaps. What is your opinion? I would increase Sainz to Leclerc, drop Stroll to a Ocon. And then that's all I would do if you've only got 2 free transfers. Hey, hi Sid. Do you keep your teams after using wildcard, or does it revert? Yeah, so you keep your team, Sid, after wildcarding. It's if you limitless, you don't keep your team. If you final fix, you don't keep the driver you brought in. And I think that's it. Sorry, let me just see some. So I have what's the best option? This is my team in a minute. So this is for Kevster. Let me get back to the teams. I'm going to show you all what my team is I'm planning to go for. Anyway, just on the screen while I'm showing everyone what's going on. About 111.8 million. Leclerc, Stroll. How many, Kevster, how many free transfers do you have? What about Leclerc, Sainz, Alonso, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Ferrari, Haas? So this is another thing I haven't actually talked about a lot, because it's been very much on the 2 premium drivers. Constructors are really important on races where you don't score a lot of points. Just have a look at this. So how much did Haas score last weekend? 21 to McLaren's 64. I think it's just so crucial. And then even Ferrari's 51. It's so crucial that you still have 2 better constructors. So I would even go as far as saying dropping Sainz Would that increase you to a... How much would you need to increase? Yeah, if you drop Sainz to a Sargent and Haas to a McLaren, I would say go with that. If you can do that with Alonso, however, if you've got the money, I'd go with that as well. Would you take a -10? So this is for Michael. Would you take a -10? I will need to get in 2 premium drivers. I wouldn't take the -10 for the premium drivers. I know I keep on flip-flopping on taking the -10 for the premium drivers or not. And it's purely because I just think it's so dead set that Leclerc's going to get the driver of the day if he doesn't crash. So I think it's just getting it's just getting Leclerc in, and then the rest doesn't matter too much. Well, it does matter, but not as much as normally. But we can end the poll there. So people think McLaren will do better, Red Bull, and 20% agree with me that they'll get similar points. And then, does Final Fix keep your free transfers? Yeah, so when you Final Fix, you keep your transfers you've done, and you just are able to make a change after quali. That's all it is. So if you make a few transfers, you're fine. I missed what you were doing. Are you swapping Piastri for Sainz then? So no. So my plan is, because I want to have free transfers going into the next race, I'm going to bring in Hulkenberg, have 1 free transfer, and then if Piastri doesn't perform in qualifying, Final Fix him over to Sainz, because I'll have the funds to do that. So that's my plan. Oh, hello. Is that Tommy Twofish? Hey, good to see you back in the chat, Tommy Twofish. Top of the morning, everyone. Happy F1. Good stuff. Everyone give Tommy Twofish some love. Oh, what a guy. Thank you so much for the $10. Literally, I saw just from your notification, I couldn't see the name, and I saw your, like, I don't know what it's called, the icon of your account. Thank you so much, man. He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Are we going back to calling me Zaki Poo? Oh, God, LBJ. Best driver under 10 million, not named Yuki. Hulkenberg. Not naming Yuki, it'd be Hulkenberg, then Ocon, then Gasly for me. Yeah, Tommy Twofish, good stuff. Glad you made it. If you Final Fix to Sainz to another driver, the points diff in the race would be low. Is it really worth it? So the plan for me is, if Sainz is 3rd, Piastri's 4th, no. If Sainz is top 3, Piastri's not even in the top 5, yes. And it's because the only other times I could see using Final Fix are when, like, Bottas gets really good points in quali, and I want to change him to, like, someone who's done worse, like an Albon. So it's not the perfect time to use Final Fix. I don't think it'll ever be a perfect time to use Final Fix. However, it just, especially for me, I like having it safe. I just think it opens up a good amount of liability to where if we do get a shock result, I have the funds to Final Fix. And I have the motive to Final Fix. That's all it is. So it's still 50-50 whether or not I do Final Fix. Piastri really has to screw it up. I mean, I'm not talking about Leclerc. We could even see Leclerc binning it. If Leclerc bins it, I'll be Final Fixing him out as well. It's just good to know that you've got the Final Fix and the funds ready to go, because it is Monaco. It could be crazy, this qualifying session. Also, thank you all to the 173 people watching. Good stuff. Hey, hello, Israel Lara. Thank you so much. Is that Canadian dollars? Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you so much for the support. Yeah. I think that's... Or is that Australian dollars? I think it's Canadian dollars. I might be wrong, though. Correct me if I'm wrong, but thank you so much for the $5. Your support is very much appreciated. Would say keep... I have McLaren. I think they're going to score the same points. Because I think Perez is going to have a stinker. He's not getting in the top 8. So I think Red Bull will get another around 50 points. Plus another 10 to 15 points from fastest pit stops. And I believe McLaren will get around 50 to 65 points. Again, like I keep saying, I think it's going to be very similar scoring to Imola. Where we're going to get, if Verstappen wins, Leclerc with the 37 with the driver of the day. And everyone else sort of just piling behind. I think that's how it will work. Sorry if I've missed any chats, by the way. There's just quite a few. So if I've missed any, my bad. Can you final fix a constructor? Sadly not. So that's the thing. I would say make sure you're happy with your constructors for the first words. Make sure you're happy with your constructors, mainly because you can't change them after qualifying. It's only the driver you can change. Yeah, sorry. Really dehydrated at the minute. Yeah, sorry. So, how do you use Final Fix? It's always locked out before and after quali. So basically, it should, after quali, you can see chips can be used after qualifying. You'll see once they've processed the scores, I'm pretty sure, you'll have an option to apply the chip Final Fix. I can actually, you know what? After qualifying, if I do Final Fix, I'll make a YouTube short on it, because it's not enough to make a whole video about how to use Final Fix. But I'll do a quick video just showing everyone how to use Final Fix if it's something that people would want to do. And then, hi there. I have, so this is Israel Lara again. Leclerc ×2, Sainz, Gasly, Bottas, Ferrari, McLaren. What should I do? Wow, what a team! Wow, you must have a lot of team value. But for me, Gasly good, Sainz good, Leclerc good, Bottas, Magnussen. I would just change Magnussen to Hulkenberg, and I think you're good to go. Lovely fish in the chat. Thank you, LBJ. Thank you. Saki Boo appreciates that. You can only make one change with Final Fix, so I'll need to change. Yeah, so that's why I should have mentioned that. Yeah, one change. It's only one. So that's if you have free transfers, do 2 or 1. Make sure your team's ready to go. So you only need to change one driver. And then holy shit. Okay. My bad. I just got a massive increase in chat numbers. My bad. Mercedes instead of McLaren. I don't think so. I think McLaren are sandbagging a little bit. And also, I think Red Bull will beat Mercedes. So I don't think it's worth risking going over to Mercedes, especially if McLaren are fighting Mercedes. There won't be too much of a points difference. And I think McLaren are just a safe option for now. Don't have Final Fix. Oh, okay. This makes it interesting. This makes it very interesting. Would you go for Piastri, Sainz, or Hamilton as your second premium driver? So for me, I would play it safe and go double Ferrari. I'm assuming you have Leclerc as well. If you don't, but I would go Sainz over Piastri and Hamilton, Josu. And then, or maybe Sainz instead of Piastri. So right, here it is. If you have the funds to go Sainz over Piastri, I would. The issue I have, as you can see, is I need 0.01 million. And that's why I'm doing all of this hassle, bringing in Hulkenberg just in case Piastri does bad. It also, because like I said, gives the option to where if Sainz has a stinker and doesn't qualify in the top 8, you can easily just Final Fix over for him. But I do have to stress, if Sainz is anywhere in the top 8, or right, let me get back to... If your second premium driver that you're not 2-timesing is anywhere in the top 8, I would not Final Fix, because there's not going to be enough of a change in points. It really only is if they have a terrible race, or we see Sainz on pole, or we see Piastri on pole, or we see Hamilton on pole. That's what I'm trying to get about. Hey Morris, how you doing? Good to see you in the chat. Do you agree driver of the day has too much of an impact on F1 Fantasy? 100%. I think it is a joke that driver of the day and fastest lap get you 20 points. Yeah, like, come on. It's ridiculous. I mean, I could go on a whole rant about the things that annoy me about F1 Fantasy. I love the game, don't get me wrong. I mean, I make videos on it. I've got to love it. But it's good. It's good, especially for the community, to know what's wrong and right with the game. Driver of the day, way too many points, considering it's just a fan vote. It's just a popularity contest, let's get real. Genuinely, I wouldn't even be surprised if Leclerc went on pole, went down to 4th in the race and still got driver of the day just because it's Monaco. It's that sort of thing, isn't it? Also, fastest lap shouldn't be more than 5 points. I think it's a joke. And I also think if you get fastest lap and you're not in the top 10, because that has happened before, you shouldn't get the 10 points. it should be like with actual fastest lap. You don't get the 1 point if you're not in the top 10. And I think if you get fastest lap and you're not in the top 10, it should go to the person who got the fastest lap in the top 10. Because it is a sort of thing where if you're in no man's land, you're not in the top 10, stick on soft tyres, go for the fastest lap. I just think it's a bit of an issue. But I always make a video at the end of each year explaining what I like and don't like about F1 Fantasy. And now that the channel is getting a bit of push, maybe F1 Fantasy will read into it. I don't know. We can hope. But anyway, yeah, back to it. Ocon or Magnussen? I'd go for Esteban Ocon. What's your opinion on Leclerc, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Gasly, Ferrari, Red Bull? I think that's good. Unless you can get to the McLaren Ferrari team without a -10, I'd keep with that. However, I would change Magnussen if you can, and I would just change Magnussen to an Ocon. I'd keep Gasly and change Magnussen to an Ocon. Right, sorry, yeah, because I was waffling, I've lost a lot of chats. Oh, my bad. So anyone, if I've missed your chat, just put it again down below. I need to put 2 times on someone, Sainz or Piastri. Sainz. 2 times, that's Sainsy boy. We need the streaks back as it was 2 years ago and limits to 2 times. 100%. Oh, also, another thing we need back is beating your teammate points. Why don't they do that? I've never understood why they got rid of beating your teammate, because that is so good and it's so deserved. Yeah, there's a lot of things. I'm using Leclerc, both Haas drivers. Yuki, Gasly with Red Bull. Lil Russ, I'd get rid of Magnussen, bring in sorry, you've already got Gasly. Get rid of Magnussen, my bad, and bring in you've got Tsunoda and Ocon if you can afford it. Best team for 111.1 million. Let's have a look, because we haven't actually done any team calculation today. Is it a great weekend to use the Limitless chip on? I would say no, Tyler, purely because not a sprint race. Not many points, because let's get real, it's going to be like Imola again. You can see from the average points they're just talking about. It's going to be another weekend where if you get anywhere above 200 points this weekend, you've had a good race. It's because there's not going to be many overtake points. So, in my opinion, no, I wouldn't use Limitless. But let's see. I'm pretty sure, Thomas, 111.1 million would be a McLaren Ferrari team with Leclerc and Piastri. No, don't prefer that. Don't prefer that. Yeah, 100%. They've got it spot on. F1 Fantasy Tools this weekend on the best team. 218.8 points, very good. Ferrari, McLaren, Leclerc, Sainz, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Sargent. I agree, that's a good team. La-da-dee, la-da-doo, la-da-dum. What the hell's going on here? Right, let's get back to the chat. 111.8 million. What's the best option? This is my team. Leclerc, Stroll, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg. So depending on how many transfers you've got, Kevster, Leclerc keep 2 times. Stroll, I don't think you need this weekend. So I think you could easily drop Stroll down. Yeah, so here's what I would do if I was in your position, Kevster. Drop Red Bull down to McLaren. Drop Stroll down to a Bottas or Sargent. No, and then if you've got free transfers, then Tsunoda up to a Piastri. My bad. If you've only got 2 free transfers, keep with what you've got, but get rid of Stroll. Bring him down to a... Bring Stroll down to an Ocon and Zhou up to a Gasly. Bro hates Magnussen. Yes. So I actually love Magnussen as a driver and stuff. But it's one of those races where we know he's not the best at qualifying. He can potentially overtake. But I just think from what we've been seeing, Alpine looked like the better qualifier. Hulkenberg in the Haas, he always puts in a shift in qualifying. And Magnussen, I wouldn't be surprised if he got knocked out in the first part of qualifying. Save Limitless for a sprint weekend. Yeah, 100% agree. What about both Haas, Red Bull, and Leclerc with RB? Sorry, one FFY shade. Sorry, I'm not fully understanding the team you're asking for. Red Bull for McLaren and Max for Lando. I would not go with Lando this weekend. If you're going down to McLaren, I would go with McLaren and Leclerc. Is Hamilton worth taking over Sainz this weekend? I don't think so. I really want to see what Mercedes do. They're really interesting me. They're really intriguing me, I should say. But I just don't see them keeping up this qualifying pace, because it would just be out of the blue where they've got this pace. And I really do think that Ferrari are the best car at the minute. So, sorry for the sniffles, by the way. I've got a little bit of a cold. So I just think it's better to have Sainz over someone like Hamilton. Still sticking with Bottas. Yeah, for me, Bottas is just a dud driver. So in my team, for all that you can see. Also, let me blop. I've done the wrong screen. That is not the right screen. I've brought the calculator up. My bad. Not the calculator. Oh, for Pete's sake. Oh, I actually hate using this laptop sometimes. It doesn't work. There we go. There we go. There we go. I got it working. Sargent and Bottas are just dud drivers on my team because I can't afford anyone else, and everyone else will perform for them, sort of things. Would you take a minus 20? 100% no, Kevin. 100% no. Only get the... I would wildcard if you have to take the minus 20. I would never go anywhere near a minus 20 in F1 Fantasy, especially in a low-scoring weekend like this. Lil Russ, if you've only got one more change, where did you talk about your team? I can't see it anymore. Put it back in the chat and I'll go for it. But we'll all 2 times Leclerc and vote for him driver of the day anyway. Literally. So I'm not proud of this. I should say I'm not proud of this. However, whenever I have a 2 times driver, I tend to driver of the day them. You would notice last weekend, even though I knew Norris was going to get it, I gave Leclerc driver of the day. Because I was like, fuck this. I need driver of the day on Leclerc. I already have Yuki. Oh, my bad. I have Verstappen, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Albon, Ferrari. But should I change? So I would say Leclerc, Verstappen down to Leclerc, and then Tsunoda up to either one of the Mercedes if you can only afford that, or if you can afford it, Piastri, and if you can afford any more Sainz. Right. Hey, Mauricio, we have the same last name. Alan. Spelled the exact same way as well. Right, sorry, yeah. So, if I use 2, will 1 carry over? I believe so. If you save 1, you'll still have 3 free transfers. Andy, I have Leclerc, Sainz, Tsunoda, Albon, Bottas, Ferrari, McLaren from last race. Choices is Albon out for Hulkenberg. Yeah, 100% agree. Someone had this same thing. So I think drop Hulkenberg down to Albon if you want to save the money for the final fix, like you were talking about with the Monaco curse. Right, and then let's get you a team 108 million. I believe with 108 million, your best team will be Leclerc, Red Bull, Ferrari. Right, and then I'll have to get up in a second. Yeah. Ferrari, Red Bull, Leclerc. I don't agree with Ricardo. I would go with Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Gasly, and I mean Zhou's fine there. Also, give me 1 second, everyone. I need to get a tissue. My nose is getting too snotty. My bad. I'm back. Is that your final pick? Yeah. So this team is going to be my final pick. Unless we see any news about any penalties coming out. But I don't think so. The only penalty could have been for Verstappen, but I doubt he's going to get that one. So, Diogo, this is going to be my final team. Leaves enough money for the final fix. Hulkenberg should do decent in qualifying. However, the main 2 are Piastri, Leclerc, McLaren, Ferrari. Piastri does bad. Signs in. Final fixed. Bim, bam, boom. Alrighty then. What about Hamilton? Yeah, so I've spoken about the Mercedes. I just don't think it's there. I mean, let's go back to the practice debrief. Normally they're not always spot on, but I do agree that Mercedes were showing. You know when a team shows too much of their hand, I just think it's one of those times because there's no way that McLaren. There's no way Mercedes are faster than both the Red Bulls and McLarens. I don't know if I'm just living in delusional land. But I just can't see it. And I know they've been doing well in practice, but I just don't think it's going to happen. Tsunoda down to Hulkenberg. So, Nicolas, that's just purely for safety, because I think Hulkenberg and Tsunoda are going to score very similar this weekend, so there's not much of an issue with those two drivers. And I just think, just in case we do have someone crashing out on one of the big drivers like Leclerc or Piastri, then it just gives us that little bit of leeway to final fix Leclerc if he has the curse, or final fix Piastri out, and we've got the funds to do it. Best team for 106 million, Henry. It would be one of the Leclerc teams, like with 108. I'm assuming it's just Ferrari, Red Bull. Yeah, Ricciardo. No. It would be Ferrari, Red Bull, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Gasly, and then could you afford to go up to a Zhou? I don't think so. And then Bottas. Yeah, that's what I'd go for 106 million Henry wise. Yeah, I know. I just think it's too much of a risk, Mercedes. I know, and you know what? Let's put in a poll. Let's put in another good poll. Where will the Where will the top Mercedes qualify? Top 3, top 5, top 8, or we'll put below, but I don't think it will be below. So let's see. For me, I think they're going to get top 8. Will Bottas be a risk? I don't think so. They should get his car back and running. All good. But then that's the thing. So, like, I can see already, I'm not going to say anything too much about it, but most people agree that Mercedes will get into the top 5. But if Mercedes are in the fight with the top 5, this is my issue, yeah? So, let's have a look at my team while we're doing this. So, if you go, okay, yeah, I think Mercedes is going to do well, where are you putting the rest of the money? Realistically, you'd only have one extra change, and you could change that to someone like a Tsunoda. But I think it does look good, that team. I just think it's quite risky. And is it worth the risk? For me, no. But for anyone who wants to go for like a Mercedes sort of team, you could go for something like this. Or you could also go for something like this if you want Mercedes builds. I think Hamilton will do better than Russell this weekend. I trust Hamilton more. And then you could have, yeah, it just looked like something like this. And I think it's so much of a risk going for Mercedes. Yeah, 100%. I could see, podium-wise, I don't think so. Top 5, maybe. We'll probably get a Hamilton fighting with McLaren, maybe not. Yeah, and also, that's the thing. Especially for me, like I keep on saying with the final fix. We can also, if one of them has an insane qualifying, just final fix over to them. So basically, the reason I'm not dropping Sainz is I want to have free transfers next weekend, Morris. And I will only change over to Sainz if I need to use final fix. So the plan is Hulkenberg, if I've got so I'll have the money to change over to Sainz if the final fix workouts. So is this the best weekend to use final fix? It's not the best weekend. So I guarantee there'll be weekends down the line where a big driver has a terrible qualifying and you can get loads of overtake points. That'd probably be the best time to use final fix. However, this is also a good weekend, 50-50, because if a driver does get knocked out in Q2, Q3, then you're going to need to get rid of them. So if Piastri or McLaren don't look on point, or even if Mercedes don't look on point, it's a good weekend. I wouldn't, if I saw someone final fixed now, I wouldn't say it was a bad choice, 100%. But yeah. Bottas or Sargent for the final cheap driver. Bottas, 100%. I still think even though he didn't get any practice free running, he's 100% more likely than Sargent to get into the top 10. 100%. What's my budget? My budget's 111.8, I believe. We can have a look, actually. I'm pretty sure. Go away, Hulkenberg. Yeah, 111.8. Any recommended chips for this weekend? Literally, the only recommended chip I would say is final fix if someone really screws up. That's it. Because autopilot you could use, but again, I think autopilot better to use on a sprint race weekend. Extra DRS again, sprint race weekend. Limitless, sprint race weekend. No negative, sprint race weekend. You can sort of see the the glue that holds the ball together. Can you final fix a constructor? No, you cannot, Stephen. That's the issue. Make sure you've got your constructors happy. And that's it. Can you final fix in a premium driver for a low tier driver if you have the money in the bank? 100% yeah. You can final fix any driver in if you have the funds. Hey, no problem, Fernando. No, I'm not feeling terrible. I was feeling bad a few weeks ago, actually, but this is just a little bit of the sniffles. So I'm all good. And to be fair, oh my God, it's gonna be a good day. I mean, a long day though, because we've got why did qualifying and the FA Cup final have to be at the exact same time? I'm gonna be watching the exact same time, and that is also why I can't do because I've had people in the comments, this guy come up to me, who I do agree it'd be nice to do a live stream after qualifying to just go over everything. I can't do it this weekend, and it's because it's FA Cup and the qualifying. I will have had a few bevs, and there's not a chance in hell I'm going live because I will probably spat the most rubbish out of my mouth. But yeah, that's the reason I won't be going live after qualifying this weekend. I'll try it out on the weekend. Yes, Marco, thank you. Right, so love you all, but anyone who wants Man City to win the FA Cup final, I'll put them up right here. Yeah, hopefully United can pull through. I've got my Maguire shirt I'm going to be wearing as well. But yeah, sorry, right, that's enough of me waffling. Back to F1. What's your opinion on going to Canada next? You preparing a team for it? Yeah, so 100% Stecky. So that's the reason I want free transfers, because if we go back to Canada and it's back to normal racing, overtakes can happen, Red Bull look fastest, free transfers, I'm back to square one and I can do whatever I want with my team again. Also, if we get good 1 million increases on Piastri or Leclerc, then we could potentially look around, because you want to be having free transfers in the bank. Mate, literally, you know, I spent like 40 quid on it as well, because I wanted to get like a jokey United shirt, because I was like, I don't want to get like Rashford, I don't want to get because this the 2022 shirt, I've got him on it. I don't want to get like any of the big names. I was like, fuck it, Maguire. The GOAT. But yeah, sorry. There's quite a few comments coming in first cut. My bad. I'll get to you now. So, going to Leclerc, Piastri, Logan, Bottas, Nico, McLaren, Ferrari with 110.6, but a -10. Debating Sainz versus Piastri versus Hamilton. Is a -10 worth it for Sainz and Piastri? I can take Hamilton without the -10. Yeah, okay. If you can have Hamilton without the -10, I would go with that first cut then. I don't think the -10 is worth it, because yes, I've been saying Mercedes won't do too well, but I still think what's it called? I still think Hamilton will get around 15 points, and Sainz and Piastri are going to get less than 25 points. So I don't think it's worth taking a -10 to get over to them. There you go, first cut. Sorry for missing it. Matthias, hello. Oh yeah, my bad. I still had the thing up. So okay. Oh, 16% thing top 3. Okay, 45% top 5, top 8, 36%. Okay, that's what I would expect. Yeah. And thoughts on Sainz, Leclerc, McLaren, Ferrari, Bottas, Hulkenberg with no transfers used, and final chip with 102 points. Matthias, I always love seeing how much transfer value you have. Like, yeah, that's insane. But what would I do? Hulkenberg, Albon, good. If you can get Albon up to a Gasly, that's all I would do, Matthias. I have Verstappen in my team, 110.5 million. So I think this is the only weekend where I would be like, Verstappen, he looks okay, but I think if he doesn't win, you're in serious trouble having Verstappen in your team. Sim says to move to Leclerc. I agree with the Sim. Yes, I agree with the Sim. Move over to Leclerc, 100%, Juan. And then, is the team on the screen the one you're going to lock in? Yeah, Sharaf, that is the team I'm going to be locking in. That's why I'm keeping it on here for you. Yeah, good stuff, Matthias. If you can bring a Gasly over Albon, 100%, yeah. Currently set up. Hey, Tommy Two Fish, good to see you again. Currently set up with Leclerc, Stroll, Yuki, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Red Bull, Ferrari, free transfers. What would you? what is the coach suggestion? Well, let's think. For me, you know what I'm gonna say. McLaren, Ferrari builds. So I would get rid of Stroll down to a lower costing driver of Sargent. I would then increase decrease Red Bull down to McLaren, and I'd increase Yuki up to a Sainz or Piastri, or Hulkenberg up to a Sainz or Piastri, depending on your value. No problem, Juan. Yeah, Ricciardo over Ocon for this weekend. No, I would go Ocon over Ricciardo. But when it comes to Ricciardo and Ocon, it's sort of just your preference, because I don't think either of them are the best shouts, but they're both not terrible. 112. What do you think about Leclerc, Piastri, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Sargent, Ferrari, McLaren? Leclerc, Piastri, Tsunoda. I think that's a very good team. I think stick with that. Unless you really think Sainz is going to do 10 times better, I would agree that you can do that. What is your argument for Hulkenberg over Tsunoda? So for me, that's just preference. So I would go for Tsunoda if you want to be... It's not even risky. It's just risky in terms of my team-wise. The reason I'm going Hulkenberg is because it saves me a bit of money, so that if Sainz does do 10 times better than Piastri, I can move over to Sainz. However, Tsunoda, 1v1 against Hulkenberg, Tsunoda's better. He'll most likely get into the top 10 over him. Anything can happen in Monaco, 100%. That's why we've got to be a little bit careful. That's why Final Fix is a decent option, and that's why it's good to have that little bit of extra funds available just in case anything happens. Also, screw Total Jobs. Get off my screen. No free sponsors. Gasly or Alex? Gasly, Ramif. Hi Zach, 108.5 million budget. What would the best team be? Currently have Leclerc times 2, Tsunoda, Bottas, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Red Bull, Ferrari. 2 transfers. So those 2 transfers I would do would be Magnussen to Gasly, and that's all I would do. There you go. Sasa, what changes? Norris, Tsunoda, Magnussen. I would just change Norris over to Leclerc, Sasa, and then Magnussen I would change... Oh, I'm getting hiccups. And then I would say... I've lost your thing again. Magnussen, get rid of. And if you can, bring in Ocon with the saved money that you've had from Leclerc, Norris to Leclerc. Is it worth switching Red Bull to constructor for McLaren? With Red Bull build unable to afford any of the big drivers? Yeah. So, right. So if you have... I would say less than 108.5 million. Whoever, yeah. So Fernando, you actually put in a good shout with 108.5 million. If you've got less than 108.5 million, go with the Leclerc, Red Bull, Ferrari team. I wouldn't suggest going for McLaren there. It's when you've got that bit more money to play around with, where you can increase to 2 premium drivers with McLaren and Ferrari. That's when you can have a bit of fun with that. But when you've got less money, it's just about making sure you've got Leclerc, making sure you've got Red Bull and Ferrari. Gasly or Alex, Ramif, I'd go for Gasly, yeah. Cheers, Thomas. Thank you very much. Appreciate the support. I've got Leclerc, Stroll, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Ferrari, McLaren. What would you do? I would drop down Stroll, drop down Magnussen, increase to a Mercedes driver if that's all you can afford, increase to Piastri if that's what you can afford, increase to Sainz if that's what you can afford. So up, whoever you can afford. Hamilton over Piastri to save a transfer. If it saves you a transfer, then yes. If it saves you a transfer, then yes. Why Gasly? I just think... Let's have a look. So, Williams, first of all, look dreadful. And also, I've been liking the looks of the Alpine in practice. I think Alpine, they're not very good, but I think they're going to do better than Williams. So, I think it's better to have Gasly over Albon. Also, the Williams seems to, just be destroyed most weekends. So, I think every time having a Williams is a little bit scary. What's your budget right now? 111.8 million. Do you rule out Alonso as a second driver? I think I've ruled him out purely because if you can afford to get to an Alonso, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, obviously because it'll be your teams. I think if you can afford to go to Alonso, you could probably get up to a Hamilton or Russell, and then I think Hamilton and Russell are better options than Alonso. If you can't, Alonso really is only if you've got like Leclerc, Alonso, and that's all you can afford. Or if you've got Verstappen and you can afford Alonso and you don't want to go to a different team. Hey, F1 Fantasy Hub. Good to see you, man. Running very similar teams. Oh, I'm excited to see. F1 Fantasy Hub, by the way, guys. I'm sure you know his channel. What a fella. He's the GOAT at F1 Fantasy, man. Love his channel. Big shout out to F1 Fantasy Hub. What a guy. Because also, I believe you've got another... one, Fan Amp. I like that channel as well. You wouldn't see me in the chat because I'm on my personal accounts, but I do look at your live streams occasionally and look at your guys' videos. What is your optimal team for 109.9 million? So if you've got 109.9 million, I would say the McLaren Ferrari teams are the better options, because then you can probably fit Leclerc and Piastri in. Let's see what Fantasy Tools is saying. I believe they will be agreeing with me, Fantasy Tools. Will they be agreeing with me? There, they do agree with me. And 100%, you have exactly enough to go with Ferrari, McLaren, Leclerc, Piastri. 100%, I'd go with that, Yusuf. Why Piastri over Sainz? It's just because I'm thinking long term. I think Sainz will get around 25 points. I think Piastri will get around 20 to 25 points. I don't think there's enough of a difference so far to move over to the to Sainz, especially when if I can instead have free transfers going into Canada, it's going to be so much more useful next weekend having free transfers, I'm telling you, because again, I don't actually think Ferrari will be the fastest next weekend, and I think McLaren will be putting up a fight again in Canada, and I also think Red Bull will be putting up a fight again. So I think it's good to have free transfers when it's a dominated team where I think the driver changes could be drastic going even more forward. Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah. Hopefully your stream goes well as well for Fantasy, man. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, no problem, Yusuf. I've got Verstappen, Tsunoda, Zhou, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, McLaren, and Ferrari. And if you've got a few changes, Magnussen, like I've said, down to Gasly or Ocon. And then that's all I would do with your team. I think that's about it. Right, and then Jack has Leclerc, Gasly, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Tsunoda, Ferrari, McLaren, 110 plus free transfers. What changes would you make? So I would, if you've got free changes, Magnussen drop, Tsunoda drop to Sargent if you can't afford anyone else, because I would recommend Jack getting that Tsunoda increased to a Mercedes driver if that's all you can afford, McLaren driver of Piastri if you can afford that, and then Sainz if you can afford that. But only with one transfer left. Wait, Lil Russ, sorry. Oh, right, I see. I've got Red Bull, Ferrari, Leclerc, Haas drivers, Gasly, Yuki. All I would do then, if you've only got one free transfer, is decrease... actually, if you've got one free transfer, if you can increase Magnussen to Ocon, I would. If not, I would sit tight and keep that one free transfer. Keep it rolling for free transfers in Canada. Would you take the -10 for Piastri and Leclerc? No, because I think I think you can probably build a team that's close enough to the Leclerc-Piastri teams. Like a lot of people can build the teams with a Mercedes driver without the -10, which I think is worth it. Bro, should you use no negative in this race? I would recommend not. It's not the worst shout, so if I saw you do it, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, how could you do this? It would very much be if... just because it's not a sprint race weekend, and sprint race weekends, as we know, there's more chances for crashes, there's more chances for issues. Well, like we saw with Norris and Piastri in Miami, we saw that a lot with them dropping a lot of points. We even saw it in China as well. Hello, Katya. Max, Magnussen, Nico, Albon, Bottas, Red Bull, Ferrari, 2 transfers available. What are we saying? So if you've only got 2 free transfers, I would go... drop Magnussen and drop Albon, and then go to Tsunoda and Zhou. That's what I would do. Verstappen, Bottas, Sargent. Oh, for God's sake. I'm going to try and get this off camera. If you can see it, sorry. Damn bleeding thing. Right, sorry. Actually, yeah. Let me put this in the chat again. La-da-dee, la-da-doo, la-da-dum. La-da-dee, la-da-doo, la-da-dum. There we go. That's the league for anyone who wants to join. 669 people at the minute. Thank you all so much. Right, where was I? Right, here we go. Ramif, Norris, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Bottas, Red Bull, Ferrari, free transfers. What would you do? If you got free transfers, you know what I'm going to say. McLaren, Ferrari build. I drop Norris to Leclerc. I would drop Red Bull to McLaren, and I would drop... And if you... Oh, actually, because you'd have to do Norris 1 free transfer, Red Bull 1 free transfer. Oh shit, okay. This is interesting, this one. Okay. I've got to think about this because you don't have enough free transfers to go straight to a second premium driver, I don't think. Unless you know what? If you have the money to drop Tsunoda and Magnussen down with Red Bull to McLaren and then bring in Sargent over Tsunoda and bring in a Piastri over Magnussen, I'd do that. But having Norris is a bit of an issue. I would much prefer Leclerc these days for this race especially. Right, what do you think about this build? Oh, sorry, let me get the team up again for anyone who wants to see. Oh, and let me get back into full screen mode again. Just so a nicer screen for you all. I think the different fuel oils hinder the accuracy of the results of practice. 100% agreed, Matthias. We've got to remember it's just practice. I still wouldn't be surprised if we see Verstappen and pole. You know, McLaren and Ferrari right behind him with Mercedes right there. I do think, however, Ferrari are the closest battle. It's going to be between Ferrari and Red Bull. I know Red Bull are complaining like, the car doesn't seem right, blah, blah, blah. I still think Verstappen's going to be in there, and it's going to be versus Leclerc and Verstappen for pole. And that's why I've said be wary about Mercedes. Although it does sound like I absolutely hate Mercedes. I don't hate Mercedes. I just don't think it's worth it in a minute. Why Leclerc over Max? So here's the thing. I'll break it down exactly like we want. So in F1 Fantasy, driver of the day, 10 points. With Leclerc, well, you know what? This is what I love to show. I can literally use Imola's last weekend to show you why Leclerc's a better option. Norris, we know he came second. He's still got more points than Verstappen. Oh, my bad. He's still got more points than Verstappen because he got driver of the day. And I think it very much could be a similar case with Leclerc. There's not going to be many overtakes. And I think even if Leclerc comes second, which I think is where he's going to be thereabouts, even if Verstappen wins, Leclerc will still get more points. And then he'll also get that 1 million increase. So that's why something new in. That's why I think Leclerc over Max. I hope that made sense. Yeah, it's just a runny nose. Don't worry. Don't worry, Luke. But yeah, I might have to watch it just in case. I tell you what, if that happens on stream, oh my god, I hope someone's not bad with blood, because if that happened, yeah, when I get a runny nose, a nosebleed, it just goes, whoa, and I have to fully, yeah. Right, is Stroll worth it for my third transfer? By the way, I would recommend no Stroll just because I'm not feeling the Astons this weekend, and also I think the best they can get is Alonso like 8th to 10th, and let's get real, if Alonso can only get 8th to 10th, I don't think Stroll's going to get anywhere above 13th, so I just don't think it's worth it. Yeah, no problem. No problem, something new in. Sorry. Right. Hi, Zach. Do you think it's... Oh, actually, I've got to double check. It's still playing my music I can play. It is. Good stuff. Right. Sainz plus Zhou or Piastri versus Hulkenberg. Ooh. You know what? Michael, I would go with Piastri and Hulkenberg on that, because I think Hulkenberg has a better chance of scoring than Zhou. I think 57 is possible, but he needs to... I think Leclerc can... Oh, yeah, true, actually. Right, let's get real, yeah. What are we saying would be the price increase if Leclerc got 57 points? It would be definitely at least 1 million. Could we see even more than that? I don't know. But yeah, I fully agree. Leclerc, if he gets this weekend right, spot on, it could be juicy. I'm excited to see what happens at least. If going for the optimal teams taking a -20, would it be best to use a wild card right now? Yes, Yusuf, yeah. Sorry, I got my cable stuck in my wheelie chair. If you have to take a -30, I'd definitely wild card over. Right, and then Jack, Piastri, Stroll, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Red Bull, Ferrari with 110.9 million. I can't get to Leclerc, Piastri without taking a minus 20. Thinking Piastri, Stroll, Leclerc, cheap driver, and then minus 10. So I think if you even can't get to the... Tommy, back with the $5. Thank you very much. Sorry. Jack, I'll get back to you in a second. Help jumping rank in F1 Fantasy Hub League. Budget 113 million, 2 free transfers. You know what? Actually, where is there? I'm pretty sure I'm in that league as well. Which leagues am I in? No, I'm in the Fantasy Formula one, the other one. Where's F1 Fantasy Hub's league? Never mind. But 113 million. Tommy Two-Fish, what a team value, by the way. Verstappen, Yuki, Hulkenberg. 2 free transfers. What you're going to do is Albon to Gasly. And that's it. That's all you need to do. Albon to Gasly if you have enough money. Bim, bam, boom. That's all you do. Do I go for Sainz? Yeah, if you don't have enough money for Leclerc, go for Sainz instead, XN. But yeah, my bad. Right, now let me get back to you, Jack. So yeah, if you have to take a minus of any case, I would recommend just going from Piastri to a Leclerc increasing Piastri to Leclerc and dropping Stroll to a cheaper driver like Ocon or Gasly to get the funds to do that. Do you think Piastri will do better than Sainz? No, I don't think so, Pietro. Pietro. The only reason I'm doing it is to have free transfers for Canada. Do you think Bottas will do better than Stroll? I don't think so. But I just think... Let's have another look here, because this is what I need to talk about. Do you see all of these drivers here, from Zhou... why is it doing this? Zhou down to Sargent. You see how they've basically all got the exact same points. The issue is that, yes, Stroll will probably do better than someone like Bottas. But when it's only like 5 points better, you should probably put those extra money into bringing in a better driver, like a premium driver or a better constructor, if you get my drift. If you catch my drift. Can you find a fix after you already used the wildcard this week? Good question. No, I don't think so, because I think you're only allowed to use 1 chip a week. So I don't think you'd be able to use final fix. If anyone knows 100%, put that in the chat, but I'm pretty sure you can't. Who should I put my 2 times on out of Norris or Leclerc? George, I'd go with Leclerc, your 2 times. Oh, right, yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, wait, so is that the one I'm in as well? Fantasy Formula. Hey, yeah, no, I'm proper chuffed with this one. Top 50 in the Fantasy Formula one. Obviously, we've got #1 Paddock. He's in my league as well. Do I recognise any of you lot in here as well? I recognise Viceroy 1 or Viceroy 1. Who else do I recognise? Leaper's 1, of course. Yeah. Do I recognise anyone else? Sorry for anyone I don't recognise as well. Hey, look, there's me. Right, sorry. Yeah, okay, I thought so. Only 1 chip available. Yeah. So you can't use more than 1 chip. Let me get this back up for anyone who needs to see it. And then let's get back into full screen mode. Oh, God, my voice is going. I tell you what, whenever I'm live, I'm always loud and it gets to my throat. Yeah, so, right, Ramith. Norris, Hulkenberg. Oh, yeah, right. So, I would say, if I do Red Bull to McLaren and Norris to Leclerc, what do I do for my 3rd transfer? I would say nothing. Honestly, I would say nothing, keep it, and then have free transfers for Canada. Oh, Tommy Two-Fish, what's going on? To be fair, almost top 1,000 in a league that has 100,000 plus is good. And it's... have they? Oh, good stuff. Is it going to be proper... It's going to be proper glitchy, though, isn't it? It's always a bit glitchy at the start. I'm pretty sure, Zuera... Well, you're the one who told me it was updated last weekend as well. I'm pretty sure you might have as well. Does it make sense to go with Lewis as the 2nd premium driver instead of Oscar? For me, no. But hey, Sushi, good to see you in the chat. I don't know if you might notice this, but if you go back to the start of the stream, I mention you because you very much helped me with thinking about my team and with all of that final fix talk. Very, very helpful. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. I thought it was. But yeah, no, for me, I still think Oscar's the better option than Hamilton because it also gives you a bit of leeway if if Piastri doesn't work out, you have enough money to go to a Hamilton and potentially not if you go with the Lewis. How much points gain would you say is enough for the final fix in order to use it? For me, I would say anywhere between 10 to 15 points is worth using the final fix to get rid of. But if it's between 5 to 10 points, I don't think it's worth. News to your channel, I tried to help out further. Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, I always love getting more support on this because it's good having this community coming together. Especially, I'm loving the Discord at the minute. The Discord's really working out at the minute. Yeah, I need to put my laptop on charge. There we go. Right, survived. For 112 million, also, yeah, I'll give that a good old like. For 112 million, who should I go for other than Yuki and Hulk? Oh, my bad, for 12 million. So you don't have enough for Stroll, so I would go for Ocon or Gasly, but you've got a lot of money left over. Who's better between Magnussen and Hulkenberg? Hulkenberg, because it's very much a qualifying track, and Hulkenberg tends to be better at qualifying than Magnussen. So I'd go for Ocon, George, for the 12 million. Ocon or Gasly or Ricardo or Albon. Ocon for me. It would be first place Ocon, second place Gasly, third Ricardo, fourth Albon. No chance of rain. I'm in quali or race, right? I don't think so. Right, let's get Weatherman Zach back up to date. Right, let's get BBC weather up. BBC. Right, let's get it up. Right, no, not here. Not in sunny old England, are we? Monaco. What's the weather looking like in Monaco? Yeah, no, that's Monday. So yeah, it's probably not going to rain. I doubt it's going to rain. So hectic-wise, I don't think there's going to be any hectic racing. Oh wow, a lot of stuff to look over at Twitter after this. After we finish this. Alonso, Albon or Zhou for final fix. I can't afford Hulk. For final for. I can't afford Hulk. I'd go for Zhou. No, I'd go for Zhou just because he's a bit safer than Albon. I might go Leclerc, Hamilton, Bottas, Albon, Sargent, Rebel, and Ferrari. Ooh, that's an interesting mix. It's a bit of both, isn't it, Zuera? I kind of fuck with it. Yeah. It very much, if it worked out, you'd be one of the only people to have that sort of team as well. Go away, crypto. My bad. What's the Discord? I want to join. Oh yeah, my bad. Let me put it in the chat. Let me get up a new link so I can put it in here. Copy this link in. If anyone wants to join the Discord, yeah, it's just all of us like-minded F1 fantasy crazies. We just have fun basically. And if you ever need any help, there's a lot of people, very knowledgeable people in the Discord as well, and it's good fun, yeah. But that's the link if you want to join. Yeah, my bad, Tommy Two Fish. Yeah, it's right there for you now. Hopefully that link works. It should work. I've made a new one, so it should go straight to it. Doesn't Gasly usually qualify better than Ocon? Let's have a look, actually, because I haven't actually been keeping an eye on them for most of the season, but I'm pretty sure it's been close for them. So qualifying here, Ocon, Gasly. So that's 1-0 to Ocon. Qualifying, Gasly. So 1-1, 1-1. 2-1. 2-2. You know what? From what we can see from that, they're very similar on qualifying. So either one, Ocon or Gasly, you should be fine. Right, so I got Checo, Hulk, Yuki, Gasly, Magnussen. Not enough funds for the Ferrari. 2 premium drivers. Perez to Leclerc is a certain, yeah, 100%. But a second transfer, should I do Magnussen to Ocon/So? Yeah, I'd go to Ocon then. Godzin. Sorry for pronunciation. I would 100% go Ocon instead of Magnussen. I get a different team pick in F1 Fantasy Tools if I manually enter my team as opposed to just putting it with my budget in. Which should I use? Sorry, Joe. Wait. So what? If you put in, for me, 110.3 million will get you a. It will get you a Ferrari, McLaren, Leclerc build. This build, so for anyone who has over 109.9 million, this is the build you want. It is right. It's the F1 Fantasy Tools one. That's the correct one. Oh, Korvac. You know what? It's a little bit crazy, innit? Sainz to Williams. I can't stand it. You know how much it pains me, because in my heart, Sainz will always be a McLaren boy, and I love Piastri, but if Piastri wasn't so good, and I do love Piastri and Norris together, I would so want him back at McLaren. I can't believe he's gonna have a bad drive, because unless he gets that Red Bull seat, I feel so bad for him. But I think Williams wise though, like in general though, I don't think he's. I think it's all speculation, isn't it? I'd be very surprised if he did go Williams. My shout is still that he's gonna join Kick, and then he'll just keep on with Audi afterwards. And I know there's been rumours that he rejected the offer. We'll see when we get to it. But I doubt he would reject the offer, because he's not really in a position to reject it. Gasly or Bottas? Consti asks, and I would 100% go Gasly. Yeah, let me double check something as well. Won't you fly high, free bird? Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. My Wi-Fi is actually dreadful. I was trying to see if there was any new comments on the video. Whoa! Also, thank you all. 1,190 subs. Incredible. I don't know if it's... I think you could see that. Who knows? Sorry, do you prefer Piastri over Sainz? So I prefer Sainz over Piastri. It just depends on what situation you're in. If you have to take a -10 to get to that situation, then no. If you can keep a 1 free transfer instead, I would say no, because I think it's so important having free transfers going forward in F1 Fantasy. Is it worth using free transfers this weekend? Oh, perfect timing. I don't. Unless you need to do a full revamp of your team, say you're still at like Verstappen, Red Bull, Ferrari teams, that's the only reason I'd do the free transfers. Like if you've got a team that sort of resembles the McLaren, Ferrari, Piastri, Leclerc teams, then I would try to keep one free transfer there to help you out next weekend. Right, yeah, sorry, something newing. I don't have a lot of transfers. I'm going to go Leclerc, Tsunoda, Zhou, Hulkenberg, Gasly, Ferrari, Red Bull. And yeah, and that's fine. The main thing is just getting in Leclerc. Because like, who said it? Matthias. Like Matthias said, Leclerc could really do well. If Leclerc gets over 50 points, you're going to be kicking yourself. You're going to be kicking yourself knowing you didn't have him. Leclerc's the main geezer you got to have. Right, what should I do with 13.9 million? 13.9 million, depending if you've got Yuki or Hulkenberg, make sure you've got Yuki or Hulkenberg. And if you've already got them, then my options would be between Ocon and Gasly. Whichever one tickles your fancy, basically. Sorry. Right, do you think Gasly has a higher chance of climbing up a few positions in the race than Ocon, or is it the other way around? Ocon, for me, probably would increase in the race further. But I think with both of them, you'd have to be a bit careful. I doubt either of them would be able to get a few more increases. Yeah, sure. But yeah, I'd go for Ocon. Can you rank Albon, Sargent, and Hulkenberg? First place, Hulkenberg. Second place, Sargent, just because of how cheap he is. And third place, Albon. Magnussen or Stroll? I would go with Stroll. But with the Monaco cars, you know what? You are 100% correct also. He could easily do that. And, oh my God, I swear to God, if we get another Leclerc DNF at Monaco, it's going to be like Imola, where I said I won't be able to show my face if this team didn't work out. Luckily, this team was fine. But, oh God. Yeah, it could be a little bit bad. Thoughts on McLaren, Ferrari, Leclerc, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Ricciardo, Stroll. I think it's good. I would recommend, if you've got 2 free transfers, 64-bit, Stroll down to Sargent, and then with that extra funds, Tsunoda up to a Mercedes driver if that's all you've got left, a Piastri or a Sainz. Hi Zach, late here, no problem, man. Very scared, but looks like Verstappen to Leclerc and Ricciardo to Alonso with Yuki, Bottas, K-Mag, McLaren, Ferrari, potentially first race without Red Bull. I'm scared. Yeah, don't worry. It is scary, but believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Leclerc's going to do it. We're all going to be happy. And I'm not going to jinx it any further than that. But yeah, 100%, I agree. If Alonso's all you can afford, Dizek, sorry for pronunciation, then I'd go for that, yeah. Should I keep Bottas or Albon? I would go for Bottas. I think Bottas has a better chance in quali than Albon, but Albon's tends to not be the worst. Also, good to see you back in the chat, Anonyma. Sorry again for the pronunciation. Piastri and Logan or Alonso and Yuki. Mike Mail, I would go for Piastri and Logan. What should I do with 108.2 million? With 108.2 million, you could probably only afford the Leclerc, Red Bull, Ferrari teams. So I would go with the Leclerc, Red Bull, Ferrari, then have Yuki and Hulkenberg, and then probably like Sargent and Bottas. Vanity Tools gives Leclerc 72% of increasing. Yeah, that's the thing as well. So we've got to talk about the budget increasing as well. Because I'm not a big fan of the budget increases. However, I very much do agree that Leclerc's going to go up 1 million this weekend, and it could be one of the times where if you don't have him, you might never be able to get back on him with the increase he's about to get. What's the reason for Sargent over Zhou in your current build on the screen? So basically, that for me is what can I do if I get rid of Sargent? I can get rid of Zhou, and I just don't think Zhou's much of a improvement. And then I also think having free transfers, like I said, is better going into next weekend in Canada. Well, not next weekend, but, you know, the next race in Canada. And I think Bottas, Sargent, like, I'll do it again because I did it in the beginning. But I've got a few dud drivers where I just think if you've got them in your team, you just got them because you have them and you can't really change anything about it. But for me, those dud drivers are Sargent, Bottas, Zhou, Albon, Magnussen, Ricciardo, and Stroll. Stroll on and off. But for me, those are the dud drivers where if you got them, you just got them to fit in with the rest of your team. Also, you did well last time around. Only got unlucky because I had Albon. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was pretty decent. Second swap for Sergeant Gasly. Yeah, at least that's decent. I'd go for that. Also, everyone, give me 1 second. I need to get another drink. My throat is getting really sore. So, actually, I'll leave you. I'll go back to the playlist just for 1 second. I'll leave you with the music for 1 minute. Give me 1 second.
Don't you hesitate, oh, life is fast, but death doesn't wait. Time goes, it won't last, just try to hold on, keep your cross, you never know when it might end, 'cause the clocks keep ticking, life you can't extend, oh, so I say, enjoy each day, might slip away, for you know there is
He's back.
tomorrow.
He's back.
I'm getting older, and time doesn't seem to be slowing down soon.
There you all are. You got to see me drink the drink. Right. Put that back down to there. Good stuff. Right, sorry about that. Let me get the chat back up. NPC playlist? Anonyma, what are you talking about? Wait. Hey, yo, Sid. You know what? I should be praying. I'm going to go... Hey, Yannick. Good to see you, man. The music on in the background, basically, I can use that because I know the band who do that one, and the other artist, I know him as well, so I've got permission to play their music. Otherwise there'd be copyright issues, all of that stuff. I wish it was a vodka cranberry though. Sadly, it is just squash. Yannick, don't apologise, man. Yeah, don't worry. But yeah, no. I've got quite a lot of drinks ready to go because for the FA Cup final and the quali. I got 4 ciders. bottle of whiskey. What else have I got? And I got a few more Fosters left. But yeah, sadly, it's anyway. No more alcohol talk. Yeah, so Bottas should be back for quali. I'm pretty sure someone said they're saying that Bottas should be fine. Yeah, no problem. Right, sorry. Is it not better to have your build with Sainz starting over Piastri, and if needed, use final fix? Well, that's the thing, because I still think Piastri has it in him to beat Sainz. And it's also for the fact that Tommy Two Fish. It's because I just really love the idea of having free transfers going into Canada. I just love that idea. Oh, wait. Yeah, of course. Oh, Jesus. When we reach 1 million, we'll see when that happens, but 1 million's a long way away. But I'm very happy. I'm very happy with where I am right now. It's very good. Don't tell me you're a City fan. Of course I ain't. Right, I shouldn't be so mean to City fans because this is an F1 chat. So fair enough. If you're a City fan, fair enough. But no, I'm not a City fan. I will be. I'm hoping for a United win. Me and my boys. So in my friends group, there's United fans and Chelsea fans. And I know I'm from London. I shouldn't be supporting United. The issue is my parents ain't into football. So there was no like family team. And the friend I watch football with, he's a United fan. So I was like, so how long ago was that? So whenever how long ago it was, I was like, stick it. And United are shit now. But oh well. Hopefully we're gonna win this. But yeah, sorry. No more football chat. This is an F1 chat. This is an F1 live stream. Either way, yeah. Yeah, he's gone. But anyway, yes. Is it a good change to Red Bull, Leclerc for Piastri? No, I would keep with Red Bull, Leclerc if it means you don't take the -10. I would personally assume that Ocon goes better around the track than Gasly, right? Yeah, he did get the podium last season. Very different car, of course. Oh, you're going to be jealous, you know. Hassan, you're going to be jealous. Hey, Milky, so good to see you in the chat, man. You are going to be jealous. I'm very much a man when it comes to this. I don't use anything in my hair. This is just how it flops down. Literally, I know it's bad and I shouldn't even be admitting to this. I just use 3-in-1 Head and Shoulders. That's the shampoo I use. A bit of conditioner every now and then, but that's literally it for the hair. But yeah, no, right. F1 content. Hey Zayed. Good to see you. Leclerc, Tsunoda, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Gasly, Ricciardo, Ferrari. Thinking of swapping Gasly or constructor for McLaren, carry free changes to Canada? Yes. Try to get to free transfers for Canada. Do you play FPL? Yes, I do. I do play FPL. I got 500,000th. I got about 2,380 points this season, so it was okay. In FP3, Yannick, what we saw was Ferrari still look fastest. Thank you very much. Ferrari look fastest. Don't count out Red Bull. Don't count out Mercedes. And McLaren, they could be anywhere. So I need to get Leclerc in. But do I use the other transfer to upgrade Bottas, Albon to Tsunoda? Okay, yeah. So I would agree. If you do have an upgrade like that from Bottas/Albon to Tsunoda, I would. And not save the free transfer. I just joined. Are you using any chips this weekend? So, David, the only chip I could be using would be a final fix, just in case anything bad happens. Ooh, good question. I don't actually know. I'm hoping so, Michael, because I would. You know what? I'd love to get one of those shirts. I'm wearing my McLaren one at the minute now. I'll be changing out of it though. Once I change out of this. I can't say free transfers. Am I fried? Nah, you're not fried. You won't be. It won't be terrible. It's just I know for a fact, looking ahead into Canada, if Ferrari and Mercedes look good at these specific tracks, and you go for those sorts of drivers, you could be having issues. if you've only got 2 free transfers and you come to Canada, and then Red Bull and McLaren look like the best drivers. Hey Natalie, good to see you back in the chat. What's the final fix? No problem. So final fix, after qualifying, you can change one of your drivers, and it basically doesn't use a transfer. So say Piastri does wank, I can literally just remove him, bring in Sainz, job done. Oh, you don't get Sainz' points for qualifying, I should mention. sorry, Eduardo. We're getting to that point in the chat again. I remember it was one of the first streams where I was like, just shout it in the chat if I'm not seeing it. Sorry. Right. Sargent over Bottas. No, Bottas is better than Sargent this weekend. Piastri or Hamilton? Piastri. What do you think about Leclerc times 2, Tsunoda, Ricciardo, Hülkenberg, Danny Rick, Ferrari, Red Bull? I'd get rid of Danny Rick for a Alpine, and that's about it. I think the rest is fine. It's sort of OP because it depends if, like for instance, if Sainz gets 3rd and Piastri gets 4th, I'm not final fixing that. But yeah, it very much is a good chip to use. What chip should I use? I would recommend only looking at final fix this weekend, like I've been saying. The thing is that where there will be almost no overtakes. So it's all about getting the top drivers right and the pit stops for the constructors. 100%. How do I... I've lost the chat. How do I highlight that? I don't know how to highlight that. But Zuera is completely right there. It is all about that. Because there's no overtakes. Qualifying crucial. You need to have the best constructors. Get those points. Get driver of the day. Fastest lap. Fastest pit stops. You got to get all of those extra points that we normally are like, okay, that's good. But overtake points are... something to think about more. Bill Bits, hello. Would you -10 for Sargent to Hülkenberg? No, I would not, because I think Sargent will get around 2 to 3 points. Hülkenberg 5 to 8. So I don't think there's enough of a gap to do that. Sorry again. I need another tissue. Damn bleeding thing. Sorry, yeah, right, I'm back. Will Bottas be ready for quali? So I haven't been watching the live stream of the F1, but I'm pretty sure he will, because it didn't look like a terrible crash. It looked like his suspension had a bit of an issue, because it was his right front tyre or right back tyre. But it was only one of them, and I'd be really surprised if they didn't get him on. But if we see in like 20 minutes, people are going, yeah, he's not going to be performing, then get Bottas out. Gasly is my last guy. Just remembered, still get rid of Danny. Still get rid of Danny Ricciardo though, and bring in. Who could you bring in? It'd be Ocon. It'd be Ocon, I think. Then recommendations between who to swap for Gasly, or should I bring in McLaren instead of Red Bull and Ferrari? Zaid, it depends on what the rest of your team looks like. What's the rest of your team? What could it look like? My bad. Force on Verstappen, Red Bull, and Ferrari. So, with Verstappen, Red Bull, and Ferrari, it's the old meta. We know for a fact that it will get you decent points. So, you can be safe playing it like that. However, if, and this is a big if because we know it's Verstappen, but even if Verstappen comes first, whoever comes second's getting driver of the day and beating him in points. And I very much think it's going to be one of the Ferraris or one of the McLarens in second place. So I just think it's better. Yeah, so the front's where it hit off. I just think it's better to have 2 premium drivers or Leclerc and then increase your team elsewhere, because I think Leclerc's going to get more points this weekend. Or one of the other Ferrari drivers. I say one of the other Ferrari drivers. There's only one other Ferrari driver. That is Sainz. Leclerc, Tsunoda. So this is for Iron Ender. Leclerc, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Hülkenberg, Albon, Ferrari, Red Bull. What can I change? Leclerc keep, Tsunoda keep, Magnussen drop, Hülkenberg keep, Albon drop. There's your options. What I would do is I would... hey, good stuff. Sorry, I'll get back to you in a second. Oh, hello. Juan, sorry about this. Could someone... Juan, could you tell me what currency that is? Thank you so much for the support. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And wow, NOK. Is that Norwegian? N-O. My mind's straight going away. My mind's going to Norwegian. But I don't know. Yeah, what sort of what kind? Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I think. Yeah, okay, sweet. Yeah, I thought so. That's where my mind went to. No, but yeah, thank you so much. Nah, I was. Don't know what you mean. Should I take the -10 to get to your team? I would recommend not taking the -10. Oh, okay. Fair enough. Don't take the -10. If you can get any free transfers that go to a similar team to mine, stick with that. Is your final team you will lock in that you were showing? Yeah, this is the team that I've gonna lock in, and I'll lock it in 15 minutes because basically what the plan is I will be live till 2:40, and I'll try to give you all of your questions and answers like I'm doing right now. Well, I'm not doing it at the minute, I'm waffling. And then basically at 2:40 I'll have to go because I have to get to where I'm watching the FA Cup, where I'm watching the qualifying, and get like my bag with all the booze and stuff in. But basically at 2:40, if you still have any more questions, I will give you other channels. Like I know FanAmp will probably be live at the minute, and Backup Fantasy will probably be live at the minute. Rain Fantasy I think might be live as well. I'll give you channels like that you can look after 2:40. But yeah, I'll still be with all of you till 2:40. Wouldn't it be better if you swapped Joe for Sargent? Yes, so it would be better, but I don't think there's enough of a movement. I think the free transfers for Canada is better, considering if Joe gets a good weekend, he'd probably score like 4 or 5 points. If Sargent gets a bad weekend without crashing, it's only like a -2, I think, maximum. So a 7-point gap, I don't think is worth doing that. Yeah, I know. And I'll stay for as long as possible. I will stay for as long as possible. Yeah, no problem. You think I should use a transfer for Bottas, Albon, for Tsunoda? Yes, I do think so. If you can bring in Tsunoda and you've not got him, bring him in. Why not switching to Oscar for Sainz? Again, so I'll go over this again. That's fine. Basically, if Sainz does better, much better than Piastri, our final fix over. But it's basically because I want the free transfer. Because I don't think Ferrari are going to be the fastest again in Canada. And I think again next weekend you could have McLaren being one of the faster teams. And then you've got an issue next weekend if you're having to change Sainz and Leclerc again from your team, and then you can't change the cheap drivers. It can get a bit messy, so I like having my options open. Do we trust Stroll? Not really, but he's not the worst shout if you've got no more money. Hamilton versus Sainz. Sainz path. Tommy Two Fish. Cannot get to Gasly. My bad. Okay. Verstappen, Yuki, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Albon, Red Bull, Ferrari. 113 million. Right. Here's what you do. And Tommy Two Fish, you're going to kill me for this. You are going to kill me. What you're going to want to do... I don't know, actually. I don't know. So Tommy Two Fish, or you can either keep your team, because I do like that. But if you do want to make a change, the change I would do is Albon down to Sargent. I know. And then you could potentially get... Will that get you enough money? How much money would... Yeah. And then you could increase Bottas to Gasly. But I don't think there's much change in that team. So I would probably just stick with what you've got. But that's if you want to do the changes. How do you get free transfers? You have to keep one free transfer available for next weekend. And then it accumulates. But it only accumulates to 3. Yeah. Then Ferrari, McLaren, Leclerc, Piastri, Bottas, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Red Bull... Oh, okay. I like this one. Right. Ferrari, McLaren. This is for Nathan. Ferrari, McLaren, Leclerc, Piastri, Bottas, Sargent, Hulkenberg. Nathan, I'd go for Team 1. The Ferrari, McLaren, Leclerc, Piastri, Bottas, Sargent, Hulkenberg. Zhou or Gasly? Gasly, Cyclone. Swap Gasly or Constructor? I would, Zaid, stick with your team. If you've only got 2 free transfers, I'd stick with what you got right there. Keep Red Bull and Ferrari. If one of your teams is down in the rankings, is Hamilton as a differential over Piastri worth it? Yeah. So if you're doing something like that, fine. Because if you've got like Team 2 with Hamilton on it, it doesn't matter too much. Yeah, my bad. I know I can talk quickly sometimes. So if I am talking too quickly when I mention like your comment, just tell me to chill out. Why not Sonoda? To keep the like I talked about, final fix could be very useful here. Is just to keep enough money in the bank for if Piastri doesn't work out or Leclerc doesn't work out, and then what can I do? Boom, I've got 24 million to play around with, or boom, I've got 22 million to play around with. Yeah, no problem. Oh, God. Right. I have Sainz, Piastri, Hulkenberg. This is for Mafaz. Bottas. 2 changes. What should I do? Right. Sainz, good. Piastri, good. Hulkenberg, good. Bottas, good. Albon. Right, here's what I would do. I'd drop Albon down to Sargent. Increase Sainz to Leclerc. That's what I would do, Mafaz. Sargent or Zhou. Zhou, Christopher, if you've got nowhere else to put that money. Is it only worth dropping Red Bull if you have 2 premium drivers? Yes, I would agree. It's only worth dropping Red Bull if you have 2 premium drivers. If not, it still looks like Red Bull... Because basically, for Red Bull to do worse than McLaren, Perez has to have a stinker. Now, it's not uncommon for Leclerc... what's it called? It's not uncommon for Perez to have a stinker, but he would have to do really badly for it to not be worth it. Is it worth taking a -10 for Sonoda instead of Bottas? No, I don't think so, Tic Tac FM. I'd stick with Bottas instead of Sonoda if it takes the -10. Ooh. And then I'm with... are we still good? Yeah, we're still good. Oh, my bad. Hey, I know. I don't know. It was quite tied when we did the poll for who's going to do better, McLaren or Red Bull. And I think it's going to be like Imola, where they have exactly the same points, basically. I'm with McLaren, Ferrari, Lando, 2 Haas, Yuki. Get rid of Lando, bring in Leclerc. He should do better this weekend. And then if you've got an extra transfer, I would drop Stroll. No, yeah, that's all I would do. I'd just decrease Lando to Leclerc. And then you should be fine for the rest of the weekend, Hong. Hello, Peter. Actually, sorry. I'll get to Zaid first. Is Gasly the best option? Yes, I think so. From those teams, I think so. I don't think so. I know so as well. Yeah, I'm hoping they do. I mean, the car just looks amazing as well. And also, just because I am a McLaren fan, I'm always hoping that McLaren do the best. Let me just double check something. Hey, we're at 1,192 peeps now. Thank you so much. Piastri. Hulkenberg versus Alex. David, I'd go for Hulkenberg. And obviously we know also the reason I do like Leclerc and Piastri together, it's good having a father and son team together. You know, it's just that bonding. They've got that good chemistry. It's really nice just seeing. Like, we couldn't see it with some other drivers, but seeing Leclerc and Leclerc going together. Wow, you don't see moments like this in motorsport very often. Only issue is Gasly spent half of the day one in garage. Yeah, that is true. But I have a strong feeling he should do all right in qualifying. I'm going to make 7 more accounts to subscribe. You know what, Selena? If you do, thank you very much. Can we get to 1,200 before the stream ends? We've got 15 minutes. Potentially. But I'll have a look at 2:30 again, because I'll help you all out. Has DNF tomorrow? Ooh, which one do you think is going to DNF? I think it'll be Magnussen if they do DNF. But -10 for Piastri makes sense. So Elaine, it really only makes sense if you've got someone like a who am I thinking of? One of the cheap drivers. Because I'd say even if you've got Sonoda, I don't think it's worth risking taking the -10 to get up to Piastri. What about the Mercs? So basically for me, Mercs, they're not a bad shout. I just do think that McLaren, Ferrari are still the better options than Mercedes. I'd be surprised if they found all of this pace all of a sudden. So Mercedes, if I saw on someone's team, not too bad, but I still wouldn't recommend them. Magnussen, yeah, to be fair, he is due one. I mean, the amount of crashes Magnussen has caused, and he hasn't crashed out himself. If you watch some of my older ones this season, my F1 Fantasy videos, you'll see I'm so infuriated by Magnussen because he's taken out Sonoda on me. He's also taken out Sargent on me. Magnussen has cost me about 40-50 points in F1 Fantasy this season so far. Like, the guy is a... the guy, I just can't get over him. Yeah, exactly. K-Mag and Stroll, it's the partnership. Oh God, no problem, Zaid. Great to see you. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying the videos. I've got a bit of an unorthodox video coming out tomorrow as well, but because I have the McLaren Jack Daniels whiskey, I'm going to be doing a review of that because I did a review of Valtteri Bottas' gin, and I want to do a review of like all of the. I want to do Danny Rick's wine. I want to do Perez's tequila. But yeah, I've got like a series I'm going to make about that. But I need to get my hands on half of it first of all. But what if I change Ferrari from McLaren? So next week I have free transfers. Ooh, so that's the thing. Iron Ender. Yeah, sorry, wait. Yeah, I'll get to you, Peter. I'm sorry. I wouldn't drop Ferrari this weekend. I really do think they're going to be the top scoring constructor because they can get fastest pit stop points as well. So I'd be surprised if they didn't. Yeah, I know. When is the skincare routine gonna drop? Oh, mate. All you need, if you want skincare routine, just moisturize. That's all you need. That's all I do. Moisturize the days I remember. So probably every 2 or 3 days, because I forget half the time. That's all you need. All got Leclerc. I know. He's gonna. If he crashes, I'm gonna. If he crashes, deleting the channel, it's done. We're not talking anymore. F1 Fantasy ain't for me. But yeah, sorry, Peter, I'll get to you now. You've got Leclerc. Okay. I would say save. Make sure you get to the free transfers. But what I would do is wildcard to Leclerc, Sainz, Sargent, Bottas, Show, Ferrari, McLaren. I would use the wildcard, Peter, instead of the -10. I would do that. Because, yeah, go on. I'd do the wildcard, Peter. There you go. I finally got to you. Leclerc always chokes. Yeah, I know. I am scared about it. But, hey, we've got to be playing risky in F1 Fantasy if we want these big global league positions and these big league changes. And I know for this, most people will have Leclerc anyway. So it also sort of helps. You know, like a group mentality. When we've all got Leclerc, it doesn't matter too much if Leclerc has a stinker. What do you think of using no negative? So like I've said, with no negative, it's not the worst case scenario using it this weekend. I still very much adamantly think, though, sprint weekends are where you want to use these. Where you want to use that chip. Sprint race weekends are where you want to use Limitless, Autopilot, No Negative, Extra DRS. Final Fix is the only one where you can really use any racetrack because, yeah. No problem, Peter. I'm glad I got to you eventually. I've got some money on Verstappen, so let's hope it's... Oh, okay. Good stuff. I don't know, man. What were the odds for Verstappen this weekend? Because I bet you Leclerc's weekend are pretty good. The thing is with no negative is it's just to keep anyone from crashing because we have had quite a few crashes already. Hey, Natalie. Yes. Oh, right. So you have this team. Sonoda Bottas with Ferrari, 108.4 million budget. Who do you suggest? So I would suggest with 2 free transfers, sticking with the Leclerc team because I don't think you can get to McLaren, Ferrari with 2 premium drivers without taking a -10. Okay, fair enough then. With a -10, without taking a -10, sorry, Natalie. So I would stick with that. Get rid of Magnussen, bring in Gasly instead, and you're good to go. That's what I would do. And if you can't afford, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, my bad, down to Gasly. That's all I would do, Natalie, this weekend. Question: what do you think will be a good team to Limitless in Austria and wildcard the week afterwards? I should start getting a good team for budget for Limitless now. Also, by the way, I haven't spoken about this a lot, but the way the teams are moving is worked perfectly for extra DRS, by the way. He finally got his question answered. Verstappen quali 4 times in race 3.3. You know what? That's not actually bad. Wow. Okay. But yeah, no. So the best team for Limitless in Austria will probably be again Verstappen, Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, Piastri with Red Bull and Ferrari. That's what I would go for right now. Zhou or Gasly? Patrick, I'd go for Gasly. I'm very nervous about the Mercedes pace being real because we've seen it in practice before. Yeah, we have. You know what? It's one of those things where I'm not even being delusional. It's just one of those things where, because I've got the practice debrief, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put my faith in to the practice debrief and keep hoping that Mercedes don't do well. And also because I just haven't seen anything. I know Monaco is a very different track. We haven't seen it elsewhere very often, like a track layout like this. So it could be Hamilton or Russell doing well. But doing well enough to have as a constructor, questionable. I don't think so. Yeah. The final fix is a decent option here this weekend, by the way, yeah. And I would... Oh, my bad. Let me read it again. Was I... I meant normal drivers for price changes. Oh, wait, Yannick, sorry, I'm still not getting it. My bad. No problem, Natalie. Leclerc, okay. Change anything. I would get rid of Magnussen. I'd get rid of Magnussen and Ricciardo. Because I believe you could easily go into Sonoda and then drop Ricciardo down to... what else could you do? Don't worry. So you can't use Final Fix right now. But yeah, I'd drop Magnussen and Ricciardo, bring in Sonoda, and then bring in a Ocon if you have the money, and if not, a Zhou. But you can't use Final Fix yet. You can only use it after qualifying. Hey, no problem. Yeah, true. But anyway, yeah, good to see you, man. Have a nice rest of your day. But yes, Final Fix, I'm going to make a YouTube short, and I'll probably make a TikTok or something about it, for anyone who wants to use it going ahead next tomorrow, because yeah, it's not really it doesn't show it perfectly how you do it exactly now. But yeah, right, Tyler, Alonso or Hamilton is what I am as stuck on. I would go for Hamilton over Alonso. I have Leclerc 2 times. Yeah, no, that's fine. If you don't have enough for Oscar, then 100% I would go for Leclerc and Lewis, Tyler. And then Yannick, I want to change it to kind of a budget team for Austria. And then, oh, I see. I get what you mean. So you want a team for budget-wise. So if you want a team for budget-wise, it's definitely Jack. I would go for Bottas. If you want a team that will get you budget, it's McLaren and Ferrari. Then it would be Leclerc if he's still under 25 million. Sainz if he's under 25 million. Piastri if he's under 25 million. It would be one of those 3 drivers. Then again, with Sonoda, Magnussen for races where you can overtake, and then someone like a Bottas or a Sargent. Right, sorry, my bad. I've got to blow my nose again. My bad. Right, so I have Ferrari, McLaren, Verstappen, Hulkenberg, Sonoda, Zhou, Bottas. And Limitless. Okay, so keep your Limitless. Is it worth going with Mercedes to have Sainz and Leclerc? Ooh, good question. The McLaren boy in me is going no, because I think McLaren will still get in the way of Sainz. But I think it is worth it. If you have Sainz and Leclerc and you have the free transfers and you can bring in Mercedes and it means you have to bring a Mercedes, I'd still go for the Mercedes team with Leclerc and Sainz. Benjamin. Is it bad I have 8 million left? Iron Ender, how the hell? Yeah, no problem, Lanik. How have you managed that? Have you used all your transfers? If you haven't used all your transfers, I'd be 8 million. You could probably bring in a pretty decent driver with the rest of that money. But yeah, I mean, each to their own. But yeah, all right. Fernando, Ferrari, McLaren, Leclerc, Piastri, Hulkenberg, Bottas, Sargent. You've literally got the exact same team as me, Fernando, so you should be doing fine. My bad. Well, the team I will have. By the way, I'm going to lock in my team now, everyone, so you can watch me do it. So, everyone, I know. Like I've said, Hulkenberg to free up a bit of money just in case Sainz absolutely blows away Piastri. But here we go. Confirm changes. That's me done. I'm done. No problem, Tyler. But Fernando, I like that team. It's a very good team to have. Now, it's getting close to the team deadline. We know what sort of teams we want to be working around. I wonder what else. Yeah, if you do think Mercedes can do well, go for Mercedes. I just don't think. Not. Are you serious? You better be pulling my leg. You better. Oh my god! I almost had a heart attack. Don't do that to me. Oh god. Swear I was about to end the stream. Yeah, no. Mercedes, not a bad shout if you do believe in them. I just don't think they're worth it. But yeah, worth keeping 8 million in the bank for final fix or taking Alonso and switching out Ricky. Yeah, I would say take Alonso because with that 8 million, you'd have to be. Yeah, literally. Yeah, good stuff, Kieran. Hey, great minds think alike. Thank you, Selena. Thank you. Hopefully it goes well. Yeah, LBJ. Oh, God. What would you change for Francesco? How many subs? Oh, yeah, God, I forgot. We are at the minute, 1,193. So we're 7 away from 1,200. I'd be surprised if we could get to 1,200 this live stream. Just because I do have to leave latest 2:45. But yeah, no, thank you all for the support because it's still gone up 10 subs since we started this live stream, which is huge. But yeah, sorry. Right. It's not a bad switch, Avery. It's just not one I would recommend. Okay, and then Alonso. Selena, I know what you're doing. You've got 5 minutes to do it, and if you can do it, then good job. Alonso and Joe are Hulkenberg and Stroll. I'd go for Alonso and Stroll, LBJ. If I put Mercedes and Ferrari, I can put Leclerc and Hamilton, and they look good in practice. Okay, yeah, then that's fine. I would recommend doing that. Yeah. We've all got our little things in it, Yannick. Oh, God. But yeah, no, I think I'll start summarising what we've been talking about for now. So, anyone going with McLaren and Ferrari, Leclerc is a must. Sainz is the second best, but if you can't afford him yet, go for Piastri. Then, if there's a big move, final fix. Then, if you have less than 108.5 million... That's correct. If you have less than 108.5 million, go for a team that consists of Leclerc with 4 extra drivers. I'd go for Yuki Tsunoda over Hulkenberg, Robert. And then, if you want to play it safe, you can still go for the Verstappen team. But those are all of the teams you can sort of work around. 1 free transfer, Alonso in for Stroll. Oh, yeah, 100%, Alan or Alain. Alonso, yeah. Definitely would go for him over Stroll. And then Andre, Red Bull, Ferrari, Leclerc, Stroll, Bottas, Hulkenberg. Should I change anything? I would get rid of Stroll down to Sonoda, and then with the rest of the money, increase Zhou up to Gasly. That's what I would do, Andre. Let's see if Selena's been able to do it. Oh, okay, 1,198. We're getting there. 2 more subs to 1,200. Thank you so much. I'll show you a little bit of proof. There you all are. Sonoda / Bottas or Hulkenberg and Zhou. Kevin, I'd go for Sonoda and Bottas. Meletios, this is my final team. This is the team I'm going for. Piastri, Bottas, Sargent, Leclerc, Hulkenberg, McLaren, Ferrari. And I potentially could final fix. You're getting there, Selena. For some Sargent this week. So, like I said, he's sort of like a dud driver. He'll qualify 20th. We've just got to hope he does nothing wrong and just gets 0 points, around 0 points. That's all he's in there for me. Oh, okay, what are we there? Oh, no, we're almost there. Yeah, okay, yeah, fair enough. What's your final team, Meletios? And then, Hamilton or Alonso, I'd go for Hamilton. But anyway, yes, quickly get in your final questions for anyone who still needs them, because I will be going in 2 minutes. I'll stay for like 1 more minute just in case anyone else has any more questions. And then I got to go because I got to book the Uber and I've got to get my life sorted for the qualifying and the FA Cup. Zhou versus Bottas. So I like Zhou. I like Bottas this weekend because he could do well in qualifying. However, I think Zhou's the safe option. And then Leclerc, Sainz, Sonoda. Oh, literally, yes. You've literally just got Sainz instead and Sonoda. Okay, yeah. No negative. I wouldn't recommend. It's not the worst case scenario. It's not the worst to use it here, but sprint race weekends tend to be better. Magnussen versus Gasly. Gasly. I had the exact same team as you, just with yeah, that's fair enough. It still should be a good team for you, Asim. If you had an extra transfer, would you? Yeah, if I had the extra transfer, Marek, I would transfer over to Sainz. Piastri with Merc or Hamilton with McLaren. Piastri with Merc. No, Hamilton with McLaren. My bad, June. And then Mercedes Ferrari. Yeah, that's good, Benjamin. Prediction on who qualifies last. It will either be Sargent. It'll be Sargent, Zhou, or who else could it be? It'll be Sargent, Zhou, or it'll be Sargent or Zhou. Hey, all right. You need to find 2 more. But yeah, no, Sainz or Lewis. Sainz. Yeah, good luck to you, Jelson, as well. What have you gone with? Here is my team that I've gone with, Jelson. It's got a bit of money to play around with for the final fix if Piastri doesn't work out or if Leclerc doesn't work out. And that's why. But yeah, Bradley. So I'd go with Bottas for over Zhou. Oscar or Carlos. Carlos Sainz. And yeah, I think Piastri or Hamilton. Piastri. What do you think about Leclerc, Alonso to get both Haas drivers in? Avery, I think you could easily use a cheaper driver than Magnussen and then have Leclerc and a Mercedes, which would be better. Sorry. Oh, very similar to mine. Let's go. Yeah, good stuff, Jelson. Oh, we love a good old race weekend. If I use Final Fix and for Canada, I have free transfers. Do I still have free transfers? Yeah, you'll still have free transfers. It doesn't count as a transfer Final Fix because it's afterwards. And also because it doesn't keep on your team, I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check that. I'll quickly check that. And then I do have to go because it's getting to 2:43. For anyone who still wants any questions asked, yeah, I need to get that Uber booked. The ride's already 15 minutes. I'm gonna have to watch the qualifying and the FA Cup, a bit of it in. Hey, thank you very much. 1,200. Thank you all so much for the support. Thank you, Selena. Selena's the GOAT. If Charles gets pole and Max wins, you better not vote Charles as driver of the day. Oh, your brainstem. You know I am. You got a pretzel? What's happened, Milky? But right, but sorry. Yeah, I've got to be going, everyone. I'm so sorry. Right, quickly, I'll actually put this on screen right now so you can see what I've been looking at. Where can we see? Are any of them live? So, for anyone who still needs any questions asked, Rain Fantasy, he's pretty good. You've got Fan Amp as well. They're very good. I would do one of them. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I've got to go. But yeah, thank you so much for the support. Hopefully it goes well for us this weekend. And I'll see you all later for another F1 video and another F1 live stream soon. Bye-bye.